We're here today at the Parthenon, not the Parthenon in Athens, however, but the Parthenon in Nashville, Tennessee. Unlike the ancient Parthenon, which was built in the classical period of ancient Athenian history out of marble, this Parthenon was actually built in the late 19th century out of concrete. But it's a full-size replica of what the ancient Parthenon would have looked like if it had survived intact to this day. Now, the Parthenon is one of the most famous temples in all of Greek history. It's important to note two things. First, that ancient Greek temples were not sort of the same as a modern day church. I mean, today people go to church to pray to God and to worship inside. These temples were actually seen as the homes where the gods would live, and most religious ceremonies would take place outside of the temple. The inside of the temple was reserved for statues of the gods and great treasures and so on. Also, remember that the Parthenon was actually built with the profits of Athenian imperialism. The Athenians had stolen so much money from the Delian League, the Athenian empire that they'd created, that they were able to take that money and use it to build one of the most glorious temples in all of Greece. And so it's always important to note that the great successes of Athenian art and architecture were built on the spoils of imperialism. The Parthenon was especially famous for the sculptures that adorned it. These friezes that ran along all four sides and the two pediments along the front and the back are some of the most famous pieces of lost art from ancient Greece. A few pieces of the sculpture still exists and were used as the basis for recreating what it once would have looked like, but much of this is lost and destroyed over the last 2,500 years. This frieze, the bottom frieze, depicts a war between the centaurs, and above we see a mythological scene with all of the major gods of Greek mythology, with Zeus and Athena in the center and all the other gods sort of surrounding them. These are the doors that lead into the center of the temple, and you can see on the outside that there is an image of Medusa, the snake-headed figure from Greek mythology. These figures, these Medusa images, were very common in Greek art and architecture, and they were what historians call apotropaic devices. They were designed to keep away evil spirits. The idea was that Medusa was so frightening that evil spirits and evil things and evil people would be frightened to come near. We're here inside the Parthenon, and what we're looking at is the statue of Athena Parthenos. And just for the sense of scale, there are some people standing in front of it. That's my friend, and you can see it's much larger than human-sized. Now, these statues were in the center of pretty much every ancient temple. Every ancient temple would have a statue of the god associated with it, and the deity, the god, was sort of believed to dwell inside the statue. And so the belief in Athens would have been that in some sense the goddess Athena would have been present inside of this statue of her. Now, this one is a replica, obviously, and the original statue no longer exists, and so it's a best guess about 100 years ago as to what this statue would have looked like. Now, we know that in the ancient world, the statue was clothed, and every year there'd be a festival where a special garment that was sewn by the women of Athens would be placed on the statue of Athena Parthenos. And in this statue, the garment is gold gilding rather than being actual cloth. If you look around, this central section of the temple in general is called the cella, and again, this is not a place particularly where worshippers would come to pray to the goddess. Instead, it was seen as their home, and in fact, the Parthenon's cella was also used as a treasury to store some of the great wealth of the city of Athens. Here we are a little closer to the statue just to give you a sense of the size and scale and beauty of this replica. It's very, very impressive.